Hello, we are going to do our first assignment for The Man Who Rode Thunder. Now that you watched what a memoir is and you watched what mood and tone is, and we've learned about that a little bit, we're going to move on to what you're doing today and tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. So here's The Man Who Rode Thunder reading. If you right click on that, it says open a new tab and it'll pop up like this. Your job, as it says in the agenda, is to read 382 through 386 today. The numbers are at the top of the pages. And at 386, when you get there, that first paragraph, you can stop after you read that. So it says, what was the oil pressure? And when you're done, you stop there. Before you read, there is a little part right here. This is an excerpt. This whole thing is an excerpt. An excerpt is a part of something bigger. So this is a part of a bigger book. So you need to read that because a lot of times people will skip it if they say, oh, it's not part of the story, but it tells you about the setting, which is the Cold War, and it tells you kind of where we're at in the story. So read that first. And when you get to this part, the author, which it's a memoir, and we know when it's a memoir, the person writing it is the person in it. The author goes to I. He goes to first person, and he starts to tell his story. William Rankin is the author, and he's talking about this crazy experience that he had falling through the sky, literally out of a plane, not on purpose. So while we're reading these 4 pages to 386, we are going to be underlining or highlighting, and you can do that by either opening this with Google Docs. If you don't want to do that, you can just write it down. You're going to underline or highlight every time something happens physically to William Rankin. Like, ouch, I hit my hand. It's something physically that would happen. If something's happening in this excerpt to his body, write it down. Or it is easier to open it in Google Docs and just highlight it. So, for example, I'm not going to read this to you, but I am going to tell you, and you can use this one. Right here is the first good quote that I have where something is happening to Rankin. At this point, he is jumping from this plane. He's ejected from this airplane. And it says, I simultaneously heard and felt the ejection seat fire, almost as though a huge bull elephant kicked me in the rear. Guys, a bull elephant is pretty big. Google it. He could have just said my butt hurt. Something hit me in my butt. But he doesn't. He makes it seem like this is really, really bad. It hurts really. I can't even imagine. So I'm going to highlight, you know what? I said as many as you can find, that's awesome. But it's as long as you get 3 or 4 times that you see something physically happening to him, that's good. When you are done with that, you are going to open up this activity 1. It'll ask you to copy it, to make a copy. It'll end up in your Google Docs. So you can never lose this. So don't you try. If you start it, it'll always be in your Google Docs. You have a task to do. Your task is up here. It's a prompt or a task. You're going to analyze the character's physical reactions to his ejection at the beginning of the excerpt, which is the pages you read, by explaining how they impact the mood and tone of the piece. You're using 3 examples to support your answer. This will be a short response, but you're going to do an outline first for this one, since it's the first time we're doing this. Some other classes call it a constructed response. We're just going to call it a quick write. When you write a sentence, a topic sentence, that means it's the first sentence of the entire write. This is just going to be a paragraph, a longer paragraph. So in order to do a topic sentence for this, I have to look at what the prompt is asking me. And I'm going to take the key points from the prompt, and you can use mine. We're doing this together here. So it says analyze. I'm not going to use that. That's my direction. Oh no, this screencast is going to end in 30 seconds. So I'm going to stop it here. And I'm sorry, you've got one more to listen to. Stupid screencast. To figure out a better way to do this.